Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and we are doing a fun one today. We're going to do some account reviews on our Discord channel. We have over like 1k members already, so very helpful. If you guys want to join and like ask account review questions or like always want to bounce ideas with the community, asking for opinions, great place to join. The links are all in the video description as well, so you can check it out. But now first things first, hopefully you find some value in this as well, because some of the accounts are going to likely be very similar to the ones that you have over here. Let's talk about them. I'm going to do account review, running through all of the ones in here as much as we can. First one is by Jack Mac. Current teams that Jack Mac has: Soldier 11, Lucy, Colada, Zhu Yuan, Anbi, and Nicole. Has some screenshots here we will check out in a bit. Wondering whether it's worth it to invest in A rank units at all at the moment, and is it worth it to like build more teams or focus into these sets at this stage of the game. Have about 80 Bangbu pools, seems kind of inconsequential, not really noticeable. I want to know whether to double up on Ether. So quite a lot of questions here, and I think it's likely a lot of things that a lot of us might be feeling. So character personality or the account state that is in: 1 limited DPS, and we have a character like Soldier 11 here who is like a standard DPS over here. So probably a lot of us might be in a similar situation, only 1 limited character in the 2 main teams. The first question that he probably has is it worth it to invest in A rank units at the moment? The question of A rank units is, what are you looking for in your A rank units? Are you looking for a support at this point of time? Or are you looking for maybe a little bit of elemental coverage? These are 2 main things that most people likely will do, or perhaps you're building like something for a future character. In terms of these two teams, Soldier 11, Lucy, Colada, very strong already. Zhu Yuan, Nicole, already very good combo. Anbi, Demara is the stun in this category because probably it's like a proxy for Ting Yi. This team, I think, is already quite decently solid. Obviously, Jack Mac here, very good job in team comp building. You know what you are doing as well. You have screenshots of the current characters on your screen. Very clearly, I think the questions that you might be wondering is, how do you get more value out of the characters that you have on the bench? Out of those that I see that has a lot of potential, I'm definitely looking here for a physical coverage in your team composition. You have, I think this is like M6 Corin. It's a little bit small, but I just see the number of yellow dots there are. I can see here, you have quite a lot of Corin, you have quite a lot of Billy. This is a very easy place for you to find a physical damage dealer if you're looking for the elemental coverage. If you're looking for some shock coverage, you have Anton at M4, and you also have a character like Rina. So actually this account is super good because you have not only physical coverage with very strong M6 of A rank characters, you have Fire, you have Aether, many good elemental coverage right now, and I think this is a very good account that you are pretty much cruising for a little bit as well until you find a character that you really like. So is it worth it to invest in your A rank units at the moment? I would say, especially when the meta rotates into physical, which we might currently already be in, and electric. Anton, Corin, Billy, you can choose 2 out of 3 of them. I think they'll be very interesting for you to build as well. Your supports, for example, Sokaku, not very important. But at this point, you probably are choosing right now, which is more important. Because he's trying to say, do you want to build more teams, or should you just focus on these sets at this present moment? The recommendation between more teams, this set comes with the knowledge of how deep are you into clearing your Shiyu defense. If you are full clearing everything 36 stars, I would say building broader teams is a better hitch. If you are not even like pushing through to the end stage, you can't clear the final stage, probably you need to go for more these sets. You kind of know yourself. And very often, like, the problem with ZZZ is many players think that they need better gear, they need better characters, when actually all you just need is a little bit of better grouping, try the stage again, get used to the boss mechanics, and you'll probably clear it faster. What are the signs that you need better gear is you are fighting the entire stage. Like, you are doing very good dodges, everything, but you just run out of time, or you just need like 30 seconds more, 40 seconds more, and you're doing very good grouping. That's when like your gear might not be good enough. If you're dying too quickly, like you just get one-shotted all the time, even though you're dodging a lot already, or you just cannot do the DPS, that's probably signs that you need better gear, you need to invest in more in your current team. So a bit of a gut feel. If you're already clearing full thing, you're like 30, like barely like one star away, like 1 rank away from S everything, probably you can split your resources half. But that's like in general what I think about it. I don't want to spend too much time on one person, but that's my recommendation for you, Jack Mac. I hope it helps as well. Fantastic account. I think it's very solid. 80 pool saved up for Bangbu means you can pretty much guarantee any Bangbu that you're looking for in future too. Next up, I want to go to the next question here. And also, I think there's an interesting comment. Do you know that you can, Jack Mac is saying that you can actually go to get this screenshot to like share with other people by pressing escape menu in game, more options, proxy tools, battle records, and stuff like that to get the list of all the units that you want. Very, very helpful. I've never tried it myself, but if you want more tips like this as well on Zenless Zone Zero, funny things the community loves to share, do join our Discord as well. I think you'll find it very interesting to have all these guys bouncing around. Very nice people. They help very often as well. We have our next question by J Star Mao, and he's saying his current teams is Jane. You have Anbi Demara, Grace, Seth, and Alan, Lycan, Sokaku. So we have an Ice team, one limited DPS here, and another limited anomaly DPS in Jane Doe with a combo of Seth. Asking right now, was eyeing Bernice, assuming she works well with Grace, so you can have a third team to combo as well. I'm thinking of whether to build other characters, better use my best tree, or investing the ones that you currently have is the best option. Please let me know what you think is the next best option to do as well. At this point of time, we don't have official information of Bernice as of time recording, so I can't really offer you J-Star Mao any recommendations on Bernice, but just looking at the element alone, anomaly from Grace, anomaly from Bernice, anomaly from Jane, I think it's going to be very synergetic regardless of what they want to do. The question, because you already have Seth, you probably already invested in Seth a little bit. Caesar, maybe not as attractive, maybe you don't even like the character. I don't have information on that. But generally speaking, let's just see your support cast over here. It's a little bit tiny here, but I can see the important ones that I'm looking for. You have actually Seth quite well invested. Your Ice team is like perfectly fine, and I'm just like trying to move around. Let me just see your physical DPSs here, not super built, but I would say right now you probably are kind of good already. I wouldn't really like focus on too many other things right now because you don't really need too much. You have good DPS. Are you clearing everything like one shot? If you are clearing everything, I think it's fine. The question is, are you going for more? What is your next objective? Are you pulling new characters to broaden your team? How deep are you clearing? So those are like the next steps that I'll be thinking about. If you are full clearing everything, then yes, you can start building other characters that you have. For example, some units that are interesting to start considering will be building, for example, a character like Nicole, because she is generally quite useful as a support. You have Grace. So I'm generally looking for a few things. I'm finding Rina here. So Rina is not available, which is like a long-term character. You have good supports like Lucy, which you do not have built as well. So if you're playing Bernice, you are maybe thinking of a Sons of Keldron team at this point of time. So Lucy, maybe it might work. We need more information from the live stream as well. So some of these characters I think are interesting. For elemental coverage, if you're planning to cover more elemental teams, Electric I think is at this point one of the elements that is a little bit harder to get, especially if you do not have like Rina Grace. You are probably looking for Anton Grace for that tackling electric enemies. So these are some of the thoughts that I have at the back of my mind, characters that I want to build for. Even if you don't build them now, make sure that you save your gear so you don't like crunch them down, dismantle them or anything, because it might be useful for you to build these other units. So lesser units that you need to pull for, you can go the longer run as well. So some things that I'm thinking of, but that's some of the thoughts that I have. If you do not even like full clearing everything, as you can't even clear the last stage, you probably want to spend more resources investing in getting their gear up, increase their core skills, their core passives, all their skills, maybe get better drive this for them as well. That will be my focus. Your account I think is generally okay because you have already 2 limited DPSs. You should be clearing everything if you're following the guides properly as well. Next up, we have Felt. I am currently on the fire team with Lucy, Ben, Soldier 11. So first team, Lucy, Ben, Soldier 11. Zhu Yuan is next with Anbi as well as Nicole. Is there any other unit that could be on both teams that could be worth building currently, or should you wait for a future character to decide on another team? So Zhu Yuan, Anbi, Nicole, fire team of Lucy, Ben, and Soldier 11 on the first half. Thinking of there any other units that he currently has, or should he pull for anything else? So let's just see the roster that we are dealing with. Whoops. So we have, I think the other characters that, straight away, whenever I see a Rina, it's always a very long run character. Like in future electric teams, this character will definitely go to become much better. You do have Grace also. So a Grace Rina team has a lot of potential, especially when we start needing to tackle more electric content. So you have a very beautiful team here of like Rina, Anton, Grace that you could consider sometime in future if you need it. So that is one other aspect that I'm thinking of. Characters that can be used both for your Aether team as well as your fire team. The only character that at this point of time that suits that niche is probably stun characters like Ting-Yi that can fit both into both sides, because you are currently using Ben. So if you use like Ting-Yi, there you have more stun, but you do not have Ting-Yi. So at this point of time, I wouldn't worry too much about a flexible character that can fit on both sides. You're already building very flexible supports like Lucy as well as Nicole. A character that really would have benefited your account would be a stun unit like Ting Yi, because I can see that is what you lack right now. And she also can fill into a good electric team later on. But anyways, not to worry too much. We're likely going to have more stun characters in future too, so I wouldn't sweat on it. We have to see what Caesar does. I'll be interested for your account to see what Caesar does, because it would likely help you with the ban slot over here. And also, you can consider changing your unbe. So that will be the next exciting thing for this particular account. Next up, we have Techno Knight, and I'm trying to do as many as I can. I don't want to be too long. Hopefully you're finding some value in this video so far. Feel free to leave a comment below as well. I want to address as many comments as we can and as many accounts. Come to the Discord, do account reviews. If this video is gets well received, you guys like it as well, let me know. I'll likely do like a second one, a third one to help as many people as I can going along too. Techno Knight. I am a free-to-play player, a free-to-play account here, managed to get early Zhu Yuan and Ting Yi for your first team. That's very solid. Early characters. Lost your 50-50 on Jane, unfortunately. Got a Necromata dupe instead of any new S ranks. Managed to get a max out Seth, 30 pulls away from guaranteed Jane. Now you have M1 physical S tier, who wouldn't get any use of it until you get Jane, so I'm thinking of getting Caesar instead. But since you have maxed out Seth, also could probably make a really strong anomaly team in future. Torn on who to pull. So a lot of questions, a lot of statements here, a lot of things. First, you have Zhu Yuan, Ting Yi. So I assume that your last slot is likely Nicole. I can see here is an M5 Nicole. Probably your Aether team is more or less set. You even have the flexibility of taking Ting Yi out if you needed to, and even forcing in a Seth, Zhu Yuan, Nicole if you really had to play Ting Yi somewhere else. So good flexibility right there. Don't have Jane, you have Necromata, you are close to your PT, so you are deciding either Jane or Caesar and thinking whether there's any value out of it. On your account here, specifically for Techno Knight, your Corin and Billy aren't too strong because they are only very low in the mindscapes that they have. So in your case, thinking of it in the perspective, if you are looking for physical, it is interesting. But you do have Necromata already at M1. So it is a little bit of a... I wouldn't use the word waste, but it's a tricky situation because you can't play both Jane and Necromata at the same time. So if you pull for Jane, spending your equivalent of at this point probably 180 pulls because you lost a 50-50, maybe going to hard PT, you're pulling 180 pulls for elemental coverage that you already have. For a free-to-play player's perspective, I don't think that is a lot of value. If you like the character, great. Techno Knight, whatever that makes you happy. But for me, if I had no emotions attached, I think I am quite well covered with Necromata M1 for physical, if I really needed it. And you have Piper also, so if you needed even more application, both Necromata and Piper could help you in future at some point to tackle that physical content too. You also have a flexible character like Ting Yi to really move anywhere. So Caesar may be a little bit more interesting. We have to see what Caesar does. No idea right now. All we know is a physical defense character as of currently, as of time of recording. So I would say between the two, Jane, Caesar is more interesting. But moving forward, I think the one that I will be thinking of is how do you get coverage for more teams. Right now, you probably have a solid one team, which is Zhu Yuan. The other one is probably the half that you may maybe struggle a little bit more. The one that is easiest to get into probably will be a team of Electric, because you have Ting Yi, you have Anton, although at M2, and all you just need is one more support and probably you're okay-ish for Electric. So that would probably be the easiest thing to move on. Now, in the current game state, Anton is very strong in the Shi Defense 12 second half as well. So some things that I would actually consider in the near to medium term. Thank you for your comments, all of you as well. Morally Bankrupt here. Light Spender, currently using Ellen, Lycan, Sokaku. And you guys make it so easy for me to do all these things, right? It's all in a very nice format, your two teams and your questions that are exactly what you want. So very easy for us to go through them. So thank you guys so much as well for asking the questions. Currently using an Ice team, Ellen, Lycan, Sokaku, using a Zhu Yuan, Ting Yi, Nicole. This is a really fantastic team. This is probably a team that I'm using on a regular basis. Very strong teams, except of course Shokaku. I don't really play too much with Sokaku. So two good teams already. Want to invest a little bit more in Jane. Light Spender, very lucky Light Spender to get everything so far, all the limiteds. Currently looking at Seth, Lucy, Rina, since you might skip both of the next banners, which is Bernice and Caesar. Should you work on Lucy since it's easier, or Rina for more branching options like Grace, and I don't know what, Victoria Housekeeping, future teams? I don't know. We don't talk about leaks on the channel and I don't have information on that. I still need to round out the first two teams investment wise, finish support skills this, along with replacing some DPS this, and some other thoughts that you have on waiting room for other characters that you have. So the main question here is, should you work on Lucy since it's easier, or branching options like Rina? You have a very, very solid cast over here already. And let me see. So your Ice team set, you have Rina, you have a good Rina, you have Grace. Rina Grace is a very strong electric combo, and you have Ting Yi as well. So you are actually very set for electric. All you just need is like a DPS right now. Where is your Anton is also pretty decently invested. You have him at already M4 in terms of like the copies that you have. So Lucy right now, you have Lucy at like M0, which right now to me, my perspective, it makes more sense to venture down. Since you're planning to get Jane Doe invested, you have Jane over here. You will likely invest in Grace in the near future. And then you can go on to Rina. So Rina Grace combo, or Rina Grace plus Jane combo, and then Rina Grace, eventually electric DPS like Anton. You have the electric coverage down if there's a future electric DPS. They will like Rina for the supportive ability. They will like Grace for if they are anomaly characters. So you have very, very good flexible options with your roster. This is a very fantastic, well-invested account, definitely too. So my advice, my recommendation, Lucy does seem less attractive at this point of time. You have the ability to already play electric at this point of time if you have the resources to get it done. And it's easier to pivot since you are playing Jane. You might be playing with one of these two characters anyway. So it's much easier to pivot into Rina compared to Lucy. Thank you again for your question as well. Next up, we have Chef Market here, who has 3 teams, the third team pending. How are you guys building so many teams? I have no idea. I can't even finish like my 2 teams properly. So difficult to invest them, like fully upgrade them, right? First team, Lycan, Sokaku, Ellen, very strong ice team. You have Ting Yi, Rina, Anton. This is the electric team that I was talking about. Very, very strong, especially with Anton in the second half right now. Team 3, Colada, Lucy, and Soldier 11. This is like the very solid fire team that some of the above characters people were already running, already quite strong. Picked after 300 pulls in standard banner, already have Brimstone W engine. So you pulled Soldier 11 for your 300 pulls. Congratulations on having 3 pretty solid teams, each tackling like 1 full element. As someone who prefers vertical investment means that you double down on like a particular character. Horizontal investment means that build your account wide. Chef Market's main question is, which role and what character's toolkit W engine will you be looking out for that will make an excellent candidate for vertical investment? Are there any characters that are/were available right now that you will consider for vertical investments? One of the important things to note about on the topic of vertical investment in the game, we have a video on that on the channel if you're interested to take a look on Zenless Zone Zero. But more importantly, early in the game, it's very risky to go vertical investment. In fact, it's much more wiser to go horizontal and save, like get coverage that you need. If you have A ranks, play them and then keep the resources, especially if you're free to play. Vertical investment only makes sense once you have an idea of how the game is going to progress, the game state and the concepts of the game. ZZZ is still in its infancy stage. You may be shocked, but we have only been barely 2-3 months out in the game, and a lot of uncertainty is still out there. We do not know how the developers will push in. We have only had 2 new characters so far. Zhu Yuan and Ellen arguably were from the CBTs, so a little bit more uncertainty in Zenless Zone Zero compared to games like, for example, Honkai Star Rail, which has a much better track record. So for your scenario, Chef Market, I would actually recommend you to hold off being vertical first, save your resources as much as you can, and let yourself feel challenged by the difficulty you have in the game by playing with like not vertical investment, just the characters that you have. You have already very solid cast that should be able to S-clear everything at this point of time. If you can't, probably it's like you need better gear or mechanics just need to brush up, which is very easy to do. You don't need RNG for that, right? You just need a little bit of time and practice too. So that will be for my first recommendation for vertical investment. What character toolkit and W engine I'll look at? None at the moment. Nothing is worth vertically investing at this point of time. I will keep it as the way it is. I personally put Ellen and Zhu Yuan multiple copies, but it's because I needed the standard characters to do videos for. I don't recommend that for anyone. For Ting Yi, some people say it's like nice to have M1 and stuff like that, but I don't think any of that is necessary. You don't even need like W engines for Ting Yi as well. She's really functioning well without. Jane Doe, similarly, don't need like many copies of her too at this early stage. Are there any characters? Because one thing to know is if you need mindscapes for these early characters, something is wrong with the game, right? Means it's obviously a pay to win and more red flags are raised at this early stage of the game. So thankfully it's not. Are there any characters that were available right now that you will consider for vertical investment? Again, we talked about that. Currently, I don't think there's anyone that I would think of. The only thing you will consider is if it's your waifu, your husbando, then that is emotional decision making, which is beyond the context of this video. But thank you for your question, Chef Market MKT. Blue FTW. I'm currently stuck on story of all things, so we'll need some advice. Stuck on story of all things, so probably you'll just need a little bit more practice. I see some characters here that you have that are already very strong. You have good limited characters. You have Jane, who is a very good unit as well. You shouldn't be struggling at all. You just need probably team building tips. And the easiest way that you probably can just fit a team comp now, if you haven't seen our Jane Do team comps guide, check that out on the channel as well. But you can just fit a Jane in the first slot, put Seth in the last slot, and you can probably run a character in the second slot. You can choose Rina if you wanted to, so you get a bit of shock here. So Jane, Rina, and Jane, Rina, Seth for a little bit of shock disorder kind of playstyle I think is pretty solid, and you get to use characters that you like, I guess, because they are both really, really strong characters too. Otherwise, if you don't really like that, your second half you can consider a team. Well, first half can be like Jane Do in the first half together with Seth, and maybe slap in a Nicole. I like this team comp a lot. I didn't expect it to be so good, but Jane, Nicole, Seth is actually probably what I would play if I had this account. Second half, I will probably play like Anton, Rina, and a last slot that you can choose, maybe Anbi Damara. So you get Electric in one half, you have Jane Doe's Disorder in the other half, and that is what I'll probably be like trying to be running with as much as I can, or Jane Doe normally carrying your account. So probably you just need to get the team comps right. Other than that, you're probably good to go. Check out our build guides on the channel because we go by characters that you have to build a team comp around, your favorite character. And my recommendation is check out the Jane Doe team comp guide. We talk more in the detail there, but you will be very, very, very well equipped to progress the story, I'm sure, very, very quickly as well. Maito, current teams, Ellen, I think this is probably going to be the last one for this video, for this coverage. We have Maito's here, I don't want to be too long. Ellen, Ting-Yi, Sokaku, Soldier 11, Ben Lucy. So this is an account that had Ellen, put Ellen, but didn't get too lucky getting Lycan. Probably got like some other characters. Got Ting-Yi to replace, which shows like how versatile Ting-Yi is. Ellen, Ting-Yi, Sokaku, Soldier 11, Ben Lucy. A fire team, ice hybrid team, which is pretty strong as well. Feel like having an ice team can hold strong for a long time. However, Soldier 11 feels a little bit volatile and worried that it might get power crept soon. Since I have Grace, my first ever S rank, I'm thinking of building about another Anomaly Disorder team. I think it could be great for accounts since they seem versatile and can dish out a lot of damage, especially with like Jane getting all the flavor of the month. The problem is we just got a new unit, Bernice is coming out, decided whether to pull for one of them, whether it's worth it investing in a Disorder team right now. Now Disorder is in a disordered state right now because it's getting a lot of buffs from the Shui defense buffs, is to sell the banner character. So big numbers, big PP numbers are a little bit exaggerated, especially if you see on YouTube. That's one disclaimer that I want to point out to keep us level-headed. Should you build a Disorder team? Let's check out your characters that you have, which is important here. You have, okay, I always look for Piper first whenever I'm thinking about a Disorder team, especially if we don't have Jane Doe. From here, I don't see a Piper. So since Piper is not available, Grace is in a little bit of an awkward position because Grace does need something a little bit more, another Disorder character to play into Disorder. The best case scenario for you, if you really wanted to use Grace right now, is probably a double Electric team and then one like main DPS that applies Anomaly. But because you don't have Jane Doe, it's a little bit trickier. So Disorder, I would say, not as urgent. You are interested in Bernice right now, which is coming out. At this time of recording, I don't have official information of Bernice, but it is something that you can explore. If you have Bernice and she works well with Grace, you can then move into Disorder. We also haven't had a Piper banner yet, so anytime that you pull Piper from a banner, you likely are able to build a Disorder team very quickly with Grace, with Piper, and your last slot is pretty flexible. You can fit Ting-Yi in if you really needed a stun unit there. You can play like any other character like Anbi, also probably okay, or Nicole if you want like more quick sort style. So your last slot is a bit more flexible, but if you can get Grace, you can get Piper, I think you are in good stead. And that's my honest recommendation. Getting Seth is also not too bad, but I know that you might not want to pull on the current banner to get Seth because Seth boosts anomaly damage. I wouldn't be too stressed about getting rushing for Seth right now, especially since he doesn't have too many good W engines in the game right now unless you bought the battle pass. So no rush on that as well. Don't have to feel stressed even though you're trying to build a disorder team. So long story short, I would recommend you waiting for the live stream. So you're asking for recommendations. Wait for the live stream, get more official information about Bernice. New unit Jane, I would say you have the decision. You have time to think whether you want to pull which of them because Bernice live stream will be out before Jane banner ends. And we will have more videos out on the channel which we talk about the comparison between both of them, which is going to be a better value for you. So stay tuned to that and check it out. For now, on that note, you seem to be pretty fine. These two teams, I think, are already very strong to help you clear. The next step that you want to focus on, I would say for your account, is if you really have made your mind that you want to go into anomaly, you can start beginning investing in Grace because you do have like M1 Grace as well. So that will be my like first step that I'll be thinking on. Another thing for your specific account is you have a M6 Nicole, which is a lot of value. Level 40 here also. So you have her decently well built. I will be interested in like investing a little bit more in Nicole, even though you don't have Zhu Yuan. Nicole actually works decently well with a lot of other characters that are like what can burst down in their DPS window. I even use like Jane Doe with Nicole and I find a lot of success with it. I think it's very fun, especially for a burst DPS. But yeah, those are my thoughts. If you guys found this video helpful, you want more of such future content, like, comment, subscribe for more such future videos. And don't forget to join our Discord so you can participate in the discussions as well. A lot of people have shared their comment. This is just mine. And thank you guys again so much for watching. See you in the next video.